In April 2023, 1 month before Tinubu was sworn in, a litre of fuel in Nigeria cost about 254 naira. Today, in 2026, that same litre cost 839 naira to about 1,000 naira. That's a 230% increase. Beans that cost 615 naira per kilogram in 2023 is now 3,000 naira today. That's a 387% jump. Cooking oil, beef, transport fare, garri, every single one more than doubled. Some, in fact, tripled. Now, APC has 31 governors, billions in foreign reserves, and a GDP growth rate they are proud of. So the real question is this: can economic numbers on paper save a party when ordinary Nigerians can barely afford to eat? Please, stay with me. Now, let me take you through exactly what has happened to prices since Tinubu became president. Because I don't want to just say things are expensive. I want to show you the specific numbers. This data comes from the National Bureau of Statistics and Verified Market Reports for 2023 versus 2026. Fuel, before Tinubu, 254 naira per litre, now 839 per litre. In fact, in some places, it is about 1,000 naira. That's a 230% increase. And the reason is simple. On his first day in office, May 29, 2023, Tinubu announced the removal of the fuel subsidy.
That I've glimpsed before I assumed office, and what I've had is that no provision is there for fuel subsidy. The fuel subsidy is gone.
Just like that, no gradual transition, no cushion. Dollar to Naira. In January 2023, $1 cost about 447 naira. By the end of 2024, it had crashed to 1,535 naira per dollar. As of March 2026, it is around 1,384 naira. Think about what that actually means. Any business that imports anything, raw materials, machinery, medicine, food ingredients, is now paying 3 times what they paid before, and they pass that cost directly to you. Yes, you the viewer. Now, let's talk about food. Beef, 2,495 naira per kilogram in 2023, is now 7,900 naira. That's 217% up. Cooking oil, 1,239 naira per litre, now 4,745 naira. That's 282% up. Beans, the basic protein carbohydrate for millions of Nigerians, 650 naira per kilogram in 2023, now about 3,000 naira. That's a 301% up. Even pure water sachet, what we call pure water, went from 300 naira bag to 550 naira. But in some places, 400 upward. These are not luxury items. These are the things ordinary Nigerians eat every single day. And they have all more than doubled in price under 3 years. Now, let me move away from the statistics for a moment because no be statistics will go job. Behind every one of those numbers is a real person. Think about a woman in Lagos who sells food by the roadside. In 2023, she bought beans for 650 naira a kilogram. Today, she's paying 3,000 naira for the same kilogram. She can't raise her prices too high because her customers, who are also struggling, will stop buying. So she's either losing money every day or selling smaller portions for the same price. Think about a driver in Kano. He used to spend about 5,000 naira on fuel for his week. Now, that same week cost him 15,000 naira to 20,000 naira. His transport earnings have tripled, but his costs have. The World Bank put out a report in October 2025 that says something very directly. Poor Nigerian households spend up to 70% of their income on food, and the cost of a basic food basket in Nigeria rose 5-fold between 2019 and 2024. 5-fold. You could imagine. That means something that cost 10,000 naira in 2019 now costs about 50,000 naira. That's not hardship, that's a crisis. And to be fair, I'm going to be completely fair here. The Tinubu administration has not been silent on the economy. They have numbers of their own, and some of them are real. By the end of 2025, Nigeria's inflation rate had fallen to about 15%, and it's worst in 2024. Inflation peaked at over 34%, so the direction has improved. Food inflation specifically, which was about 40% in mid-2024, dropped to single digits in January 2026 for the first time in over 14 years. That is a real data point. It happened. Nigeria's GDP grew by about 4% in 2025. Foreign reserves reached about 45.4 billion US dollars by the end of 2025, a strong position. The stock exchange posted a 48% gain in 2025. Foreign direct investment jumped significantly. Tinubu himself said in his New Year 2026 address, "We closed 2025 on a strong note. Inflation declined steadily. We maintained trade surpluses and achieved greater exchange rate stability." The APC Senate Majority Leader also said the 2025 Tax Reforms Act is the most consequential reform in years, designed to simplify taxation and improve life for ordinary Nigerians. So the government's argument is the pain was necessary. The reforms are working. Give it time.
Yes, for this reason, that in my inauguration address on May 29, I gave effect to the decision taken by my predecessor in office to remove the fuel subsidy. I admit the decision will impose extra burden on the masses of our people. I feel your pain. This is one decision we must bear to save our country from going under and take our resources away from the stranglehold of a few unpatriotic elements.
That is their case, and it is not built on nothing. If this breakdown is helping you understand what is really happening in Nigeria's economy, share this video, post it on your WhatsApp status, drop it in a group chat, because the 2027 election will be decided by people who understand the future, not just the headlines. Now, here's where it gets complicated, because there's a difference between macroeconomic numbers and what people actually feel in their pockets. The World Bank, which is not a political party, not opposition, not APC, not ADC, said in October 2025 that Nigeria's economic gain have not yet translated into tangible improvements in people's lives. Just imagine. Their exact point: growth is happening, but poverty remains widespread. 30.9% of Nigerians, almost 1 in 3, still live below the international extreme poverty line. The ADC, the opposition coalition, put it bluntly just this week, March 2026. They said key factors like power, education, health, and communications have recorded low levels of capital spending. In other words, money is coming in, but it is not going to the places ordinary people need it most. And here's the honest mathematical problem for the government. Even if inflation is now 15%, and even if food inflation dropped to single digits in January 2026, the prices that doubled and tripled in 2023 and 2024 have not gone back down. Inflation showing down does not mean prices went back. It just means they are rising more slowly now. The beans that jumped from 650 Naira to 3,000 Naira, they are still 3,000. That fuel that went from 254 Naira to 839 Naira, still 839 Naira. So when ordinary Nigerians go to the market today, they are still paying 2024 crisis prices, even if the economists say inflation is easing. Now let's connect this directly to 2027, because this is what the video is really about. Political science has a well-documented pattern across the world, because when an economy is growing and people feel it, governments get re-elected. When people feel poorer when they did before, governments lose. This is sometimes called stomach infrastructure in Nigerian politics. Simple idea. When a man cannot feed his family, his party loyalty weakens, his tribe loyalty weakens, his region loyalty weakens, he votes for whoever he thinks will change his situation. In 2023, Nigerians were already struggling, but fuel was still 254 Naira. A dollar was still 447 Naira. People could still manage. In 2027, voters will go to the polls after 3 full years of 800 Naira plus fuel. After 3 years of their food cost doubling. After 3 years of the Naira at over 1,300 Naira to the dollar. APC's counter strategy is clear. They are pointing to falling inflation as proof that reforms are working. They are spending heavily on visible infrastructure, projects, roads, bridges, that people can see before the election. And with 31 governors controlling state resources, they have the grand machinery to reach millions of voters directly. But here's the reality the government cannot escape. This Day Life put it clearly in a year-end analysis. Nigerians are not angry only because life is hard. They are angry because hardship is unfair pain below and insulation above. People see the government, they see the lifestyle of those in power, and they compare it to their own. That comparison is dangerous for any ruling party. So here's where I land after looking at all of this, because I need to be sincere with you. The government numbers are real. Inflation is down, reserves are up, GDP is growing. If you mention Nigeria on a chart, the direction has improved from the worst point in 2024. But the lived experience of millions of Nigerians tells a different story. Beans at 3,000 Naira, fuel at 839 Naira, a dollar at 1,384 Naira. These are the numbers people live with every single day. The question for 2027 is not whether the economy is technically improving. The question is whether ordinary Nigerians feel that improvement in their daily lives before January 2027. If they do, APC has a strong case. If they don't, no amount of governors, no amount of political machinery, and no amount of endorsement will fully shield them from voter anger. Economic pain has ended government far more powerful than this one, and Nigeria's voters have surprised analysts before. So tell me, do you feel the economy has improved in your daily life, or are you still struggling with the same prices you were struggling with in 2024? Kindly drop your honest answers in the comments. I genuinely want to know what you're experiencing on the ground. So once again, thank you for taking your time to watch the complete full breakdown. If this gave you a clearer picture, make sure you hit that like button right now. Subscribe if you haven't and turn on your notification bells because more of this are coming. Before you go, make sure you share this particular video, post it on your WhatsApp status. Let's keep people informed. Thank you for watching.